What's going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. So today we're about halfway through the set 2 reveals, so I wanted to go over my personal top 10 list of the best cards that have currently been revealed. I'll give a little description of why I think so, but yeah, we're just going to jump right into this. So first off, we got the Client, 3-cost blue-black uncommon. It's a 2/5 with shielded. Action, choose unit for this phase. It gains bounty, heal 5 damage to your base. So in most situations, if you're playing this in a blue-black deck, you're just tapping it, put a bounty on something, heal 5. Where I think this card really will shine if it does well is in Grand Inquisitor, because you can do crazy stuff with this. Like, I was testing it out, and you can tap it, like say you're on the Grand Inquisitor flip turn. You have this out, you tap it, you put a bounty on something, you heal 5, right? You use Grand Inquisitor's ability, untap it, re-ready it, put the bounty back on it, so now it's heal 10. Then you can deploy Grand Inquisitor, attack, use the ability again. Like, you can potentially heal 15 in one turn off of this with GI. But even without GI, this is still a heal 5 on a tap if you can clear the unit. So I think this card's crazy. Probably one of the best cards in this set so far. Also, these are in no way in any particular order. It's kind of just by color. But then we have First Light. I feel like this card has been kind of slept on because it was announced pretty early on. But it is a 7-cost rare blue-black, also for 7 vehicle with grit. Each other friendly non-leader unit gains grit, and smuggle for 7, deal 4 damage to a friendly unit. So basically, you'd resource this card every time, right? And then you smuggle it out, paying the same exact cost you would pay from your hand. You can deal 4 damage to a unit that can attack already. That's going to gain grit. So you could basically deal 4 damage to a unit to give it 4 attack if it'll survive. Or if you don't have anything else that you can hit, it just says a friendly unit, right? So you can flip this out, deal the 4 damage to itself, and instead of coming out of 4/7, it'll come out in 8/3, which sure gets traded into easy, but you can have an 8/3 if you want to go that route, if you think your board's already established, but it is in space. So yeah, this card's cool. Giving a board all grit is nutty. I think this card is solid. Then we got Keel. I don't know. This one, it's a little debatable. It's a 2-cost 2/3 uncommon blue-white with restore 1. And then on attack, you discard a card from your deck. If it shares an aspect with your base, return it to your hand. So I feel like this will only be played in mono blue, which if mono blue does alright, which it definitely has the possibility to, this card will be a 3 of, because it's just attack draw card, right? Because all your cards are blue unless you're playing out of aspect or just pure heroism cards, but generally you probably won't be. So I think this card will be crazy in mono blue, but other than that, it's average at best. But for the most, like, you'll get a draw 50% of the time, 60 depending on what you have more color in. But I think this card's cool. Definitely look out for this one. And the last blue option I believe I have is Rose Tico. It is a blue-white uncommon 4-cost 2/6. It comes in shielded, and on attack you may defeat a shield token on a friendly unit. If you do, give 2 experience tokens to that unit. So basically what this says to me is it either comes in 2/6 shielded, chills out, or if you're playing it with like green, you could energy conversion lab it out, and you could attack, clear your own shield, and it comes out as a 4/8 on turn 4, which is absurd. Like, those stats are so high. Or if you have shield synergy anywhere else, like I know there's cards like the Armor and things and Luke Skywalker and stuff like that that give shield on their own, like this card will be nuts. Because, like, imagine that Luke green deck running around right now. They go turn 1, they play the Alliance Dispatcher, I think is what it's called. And then they tap Luke, give it a shield. And then they start their next turn. They tap the Alliance Dispatcher, they play Rose Tico on turn 2. And the one guy's got a shield and she's got a shield. So you're either wasting your attacks to clear their shields so she doesn't get insane on the next turn, or you just get free value. Like, I think this card has huge potential. It'll definitely shine in a deck that focuses on shields more or less, but you can get so much value out of this. And it's got 6 health, so it's out of takedown range OP, right? But we're going to move on. We're on to green now. We got Sundari Peacekeeper. This is a green-white uncommon with Raid 2 and Restore 2, 1/5. So it's nothing absurd, right? Like, the text doesn't read bizarre, but the fact that this is a 3 cost, basically a 3/5 when you're attacking with Restore, like, this card will be insanely valuable. Like, if you're playing Sabine, right? Your 3 cost plays, normally you're pumping out extra damage and whatnot. But say you don't have a pump, or you're playing something like you're playing in a mirror and you want to hedge the mirror. You play this on turn 3. Now every turn you're hitting for 3 and healing 2, or you're trading into stuff because it has 5 health. Like, it's very favorable. Sure, the raid kind of sucks. It only returns 1 when it's defending, but this card hedges the mirror. And then in control decks, like green-white control style or mid-range or whatever, you're healing and all this. Like, the healing on this alone makes it good. But the fact that it has Raid 2 makes it even better. I think this card will be a mainstay in most green-white lists, but could be wrong. Personal opinion, obviously. Moving on, we got Palpatine's Return. It's a 6-cost green-black rare event. Play a unit from your discard pile. It costs 6 less. If it's a Force unit, it costs 8 less. So it's not too crazy on paper, honestly. But if you're playing Force units, you get a discount. So you're paying 6 to play something that could cost 8, like a Palpatine or a Vader. I mean, would only be 1 discount, but things like that, you know? Like, you're getting a discount regardless. And you get to bring back stuff from your graveyard, which is sweet. Because normally speaking, once things go to the discard pile, they're kind of lost in the abyss right now. You get, like, the blue control decks play restock so they can shuffle stuff back, sure, but you don't ever see it, you know? Like, the fact that you can recur from your graveyard, say if you discard a card or something like that, like, if discard starts popping up, or someone hits you with, like, a Spark of Rebellion, or, a Force Throw, or whatever, you can discard something that costs high that you won't be able to get to, and then get to it sooner. This card's good. It's lower on my spectrum. I'd say it's in, like, the 10th or 9th slot so far, but it's still a pretty solid card. And then moving on, I think we're on yellow. We got Dr. Evazon. It is a rare 2-cost yellow-black 3/3 shielded bounty, ready up to 12 resources. So this card, I've said it before when I was talking about it, as long as you're not playing against hyper control decks, like mostly blue for the most part. If you're not playing blue, this card's insane. If you're playing blue, this card probably comes out of your main deck every time, because they just power the dark side for free and then they can continue on. But, like, if you're playing against any other deck, like, say you're playing against Boba or something, you play this 3/3, they play their 2/2 Crafty Smuggler or something, right? Like, this will just keep hitting face, and then when you think this is about to die, like, say it's a, 3/1 or something, and they're like, or it has no shield left, and you see a good trade, what you can do is, if you have initiative and they haven't played anything, or if they start their turn and they just attack something, you just trade this in before they've used any resources and they get nothing. So the fact that this comes out as a 3/3 on turn 1 with shield, like, it answers Battlefield Marine, it answers Echo Base Defender, like, this card answers a ton, and it's got crazy value. Like, unless you're playing against blue control, or I guess technically red control also, but basically unless you're playing against control decks, this card's insane. That's all there is to it, really. Moving on, we got a new adventure, another event. It is a double yellow 2-cost event. It is uncommon, and it says return a non-later unit that costs 6 or less to its owner's hand, then its owner may play it for free. So basically, you're never, unless there's a good reason, which I can't imagine there will be, you're never playing it on your opponent, but what you're going to do is you're going to bounce your own card to your hand, play it again, and be able to do the action. So you get to, there's like multiple ways that you can go around playing this. You can say you have a 6-cost unit that has maybe like 6, like let's use, I don't know, I don't want to use my good example, but let's say you have like a Cantina Bouncer or something, right? Because you're playing double yellow, or you can't even play this out of aspect. Honestly, I think it's good enough to be played out of aspect. But let's say you're playing like Cantina Bouncer. You play the Cantina Bouncer, you bounce something back to their hand. They do some stuff, whatever. You play this, bring it back, play it again, bounce something else. Like, there's crazy value right there, right? But like my biggest example, I think, is like, imagine this in like boba yellow, right? You got fire spray out. You play the fire spray. I mean, obviously it's got to be later. You got to have 8 resources, right? But in general, or just, it's like another turn, like it's been on the field for a turn, but you attack with fire spray, you deal 5. You bounce the fire spray back to your hand, it comes back, re-readies, you get to attack for 5 again. You can trade it into stuff and take the damage off your cards. Like if you traded with your fire spray, it's like a 5-1 now. You return it, you play it again. Now it's 5-6 again. It can re-attack, blah, blah, blah. Like, this card's nuts. Easily, I think this card stays in my top 5. Maybe, or top 10, I guess. Once all the cards are revealed, unless there's so much really good stuff, I want to say this card stays in my top 10 regardless, because this card's nuts. But the fact it's just an uncommon shocks me, to be honest. But we're going to move on. We got Boba Fett's armor. This one's a little more skeptical for me. But I still think it's crazy. Because you get to give... I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of upgrade removal. Just because people are going to be testing out upgrade stuff. And if Mando does well, people are going to side into upgrade removal. Blah, blah, blah. But I think this card is crazy for what it is. Cost 2, you attach it to either a Boba Leader or a Disintegrator, either one, and it gets +2/+2, right? This is a rare also, by the way. Gets +2/+2, and then if it's going to take damage, you get to shave off 2 of the damage. So if anything with 2 attacks you, you take 0, you know? So like if you played this on just like a regular, like the 3-cost Boba, you now have a 5/7 Boba Fett that can only be killed by 9 damage. Like a 9 damage swing would have to kill it, or like multiple 5 damage swings, you know, because they're only dealing 3, so you have to hit them 3 times or something like that. Like, this card is crazy for what it is. Like, why does Boba need more love, to be honest? But I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, I can't say much more about it. This card freaks me out. If upgrades, I feel like upgrade removal is going to have to be floating around, or just hard removal, because like sure, it loses to hard removal, like if you waylay it or power of the dark side or whatever, it loses to that, right? But if they don't have upgrade removal, like if it's a pure aggro deck like Sabine or something like that, like this card goes nutty. Yeah, moving on. Last one, and I'm gonna say this ahead of time. I got a couple honorable mentions at the end because I have no red in here, just because the red support's kind of meh. But last one here is Kira. It is a rare 4-cost yellow-white 3/5. When played, look at your opponent's hand, then name a card while this unit's in play. Each card with that name costs 3 more for your opponent to play. So this card has tons of applications. 3/5 stat line is okay, right? It's a little undercurved, but what you can do with it is you can either save yourself from, you know, their next big play coming up. Like, say, I just keep using like current examples, obviously. Like if you're playing into Sabine, you could play this, call a, what's it's called, Steadfast Battalion, that they're probably going to play next turn, or they want to play next turn. You can shut that down. Or you could call like a K2 or something like that, like looking, depending on their hand or what you don't want to see. But you could also play this, and if you don't see like a steadfast, you could call like 4 cause I believe in if you're close to death, and then they have to wait at least another turn to play 1, and they can't double cause you or nothing. So that's crazy in its own. And then you have the option of, like, against control decks, like everyone's biggest fear, right, is Super Laser Blast on turn 8, or Avenger on turn 9 if you're to that point, but you're probably more scared of Super Laser Blast. You could just play this out either early if you need to for tempo, or you could save it until turn 7, or not turn 7, resource 7. You could play this and just name Super Laser. Even if they don't have it, just hope they don't draw it, or you could call something else, whatever would save you in the moment. But I think this card gives a lot of value for what it is. It's kind of like Regional Governor in a sense, but better statted, I think. Although it doesn't say you can't play it, it could just cost 3 more, but that's a pretty high tax for what it is, so I think this card's good. It might be more of a sideboard card, I'm not positive, but I think it'll see some play. But those are the top 10, I think, so far. But we got honorable mentions. They're all red, by the way. We got Kylo's TIE Silencer. It's 2-cost legendary. Red, black, 3/2 action. If this unit was discarded from your hand or deck this phase, play it from the discard pile, paying its cost. Pretty self-explanatory. These cards are all discard cards. We're going to just go over all of them really quick. We have Poe Dameron, which is also another legendary, 5 costs, red-white, 6/6. On attack, discard up to 3 cards from your hand. For each card discarded this way, choose a different option. Deal 2 damage, defeat an upgrade, and opponent discards a card. And then we also have Miggs Mayfield, which is a rare 2-cost, just red. 2/2. When a player discards a card from their hand, you may deal 2 damage to a unit or base, only once a round. So, I think that these 3 cards are all really good, but it's very situational if red discard is going to be good enough to be played. I think we need to see more discard cards for this archetype to be considered playable. Because, I mean, if this was red-black, or if these were red-white, or if, you know, they were just red, like, sure, that probably, like, 3 cards isn't crazy, but it's enough to feel okay about it in a sense, you know? But I feel like there needs to be more to the archetype for it to be good, but it's like a starting point. Hopefully in the next half of the cards we see more discard, and this one of these colors, red white or red black, can become a deck. But for now I'm holding these ones close, and once we see the rest, hopefully they'll get some more love and we can say that this will be a deck. But that's all I got for now. Let me know what you think of my top 10. Let me know what you think of the cards that you think are probably best in this set. If I missed any, if you agree with my choices, whatever, just let me know. Drop a like on the video and comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace.